The real reason you are not approaching women. If you're new to the channel, my name is Tristan Social. I approach women on a daily basis. It's something that has become part of my life. And I hope for you to have that same type of realization that that can be part of your life. Down to this word value. There's an amazing YouTube video on YouTube that, I watched this maybe 6, 7 years ago. It's by Andre Taylor, a former pimp that has really revolutionized his life and has become a major part of the political system of Northern California, Berkeley, and the Bay Area. But he speaks about some really solid pimp game called value. It all comes down to the concept of value. And I'm not talking about the same conversation that you hear 6 times a week on social media: high value man, 6 figure, 6 pack, 6 inches, whatever it is that you want to, the conversation is like repeatedly talked about. I'm not talking about a high value man. I'm talking about the concept of value itself and why and how this relates to you not approaching women. So it's really important that you watch this thing to its entirety. It's important that you watch this and you take notes, because this could literally change your life on how you go about approaching women and why you're not doing it currently. So the question becomes, why do some men have no woman at all? Like absolutely none. They have no woman. They don't have any prospects. Nobody wants to talk to them. Nobody wants to hang out with them. Nobody wants to be that person in their life. And why do some men have multiple women that they can go ahead and they could talk to, and they know about each other, and there's no secrets around it? Why do some men have no women at all, and why do some men have all the women in the world? Because objectively, I have clients that are high value, quote unquote high value. They're tall, they're good looking, they have the money, they have the business, they're making $250,000, $300,000 a year plus, but they're still struggling to go ahead and just approach women on a day-to-day basis. You would think, with everything that the media has told us about what a high-value man is, they have the network, the height, the money, it should be super easy. But they still end up freezing up, and they don't approach, and they rely on dating apps primarily to get laid. There's a friend of mine out here in Bali who's a multimillionaire. Multimillionaire, been a millionaire for over 10 years. And he's a buff guy, good looking guy. And you could tell just by looking at him that he has confidence. But when I talk to him, when I ask him, he's like, "Oh, Tristan, I've seen your videos. You do something that I could never do. I could never go up and approach a woman." He gets laid 3, 4, 5 times a week, all from Bumble. And he's paid $10,000 into Bumble mentorships to learn the algorithm and get the photos and do everything. And I look at him and I'm questioning, like, so you have everything that a woman quote unquote wants, but you still don't have the ability to go and talk to women in person. There's something not right here. If society is saying all of this stuff, that it should be this, it should be this, it should be this, why are the men that having it not getting the results that somebody like me? Because I'm not the most attractive guy. I'm definitely not the richest guy in the world. I think that's an insecurity of mine. And I'm working on securing it by making these YouTube videos, becoming more confident in my financial abilities. So when we ask the question, why is this? We have to understand this. Inside of all of us, there is a judge. Inside of all of us, there is a judge with a gavel, and it slams the hammer on whether we take action or we don't. This judge determines our internal value. All the external value means absolutely nothing to the judge until the internal value is matched. This is why you find really beautiful women, gorgeous women, that hang out with just scumbag men, because they don't understand their internal value. And external value, from these people saying, "Oh, you're so beautiful," and these people saying, "Oh, you're so beautiful," means absolutely nothing to the judge inside of us all. The judge determines whether we move forward or we step back, determining on the value that is internal to us. Every day, that internal judge looks at our actions, words, and promises that we give to ourselves and other people. And then that judge looks at every action and assigns it a value of ATF or ITF, ability to follow through or inability to follow through. This is why you don't trust yourself. This is the exact reason why you think to yourself, "Why can I never follow through? Why am I still struggling with my self-image and my confidence and who I am as a man?" This is why right here, when you say that you're going to do something and you don't do it, anybody else, if you lied to anybody else, the amount of times that you've lied to yourself, nobody would trust you. Say you have your friend say he's going to pick you up for work at 7 a.m. And at 7 a.m. you're expecting him to come pick you up for work, and he doesn't come to pick you up for work, and you're late to work and you get a dock on your pay. The next day when he says he's going to pick you up at 7 a.m., are you going to be trusting him? Probably not. And if you do follow through and you do trust him to do it again, and if he falls through again, third time is definitely you're not. You're definitely taking the bus, or you're taking the bike, or you're taking your own car, or you're doing something else. And the same thing relates to how you respond to your word. So you can sit there, you can be in pain, you can go ahead and really, really, really want to change. But if every single time that you haven't said to yourself that you're going to change, that you've actually made a behavioral change, because without behavioral change, if nothing changes, absolutely nothing changes. I want you to tell you this right now. You could watch all the videos, you could do all the journaling, you could do all the meditation, but if your behavior does not change, all of that was just a waste of time. Watching this video and then not taking action on it afterwards is a waste of your time. So if you want real change, and I know that the metrics are going to drop on this YouTube video, like, oh, he said I'm not going to change, blah, blah, blah. But for the people that I actually want to help with this channel, you have to make a behavioral change. Something has to change inside of your behavior. So when a really cute girl walks by and you said to yourself before you were going to approach and you didn't in the past, the judge then deems you unworthy of that action. You said before that you were going to change and you didn't change, and now your internal value drops. So you can have the car, you can have the mansion, you can have all of the things that society deems high value, but if your word doesn't have high value to you, then it means absolutely nothing to the only person that matters, and that's you. All of these other exoteric, so esoteric means internal, exoteric means outside, external. All of this external validation, they say, oh, you're so good, you have this and you have that. If it doesn't bleed down into the subconscious, if it doesn't bleed down into how you see yourself, it means absolutely nothing. So we're going to flip the perspective for a second. Say that same cute girl is dying of thirst and you have a bottle of water in your hand. I'm going to ask you the question, would you hesitate to approach her and help her? The answer, obviously, if you're, being serious with yourself and myself, is no, because you can provide value to her. Internally, you feel currently that you aren't able to provide value to the person that wants to talk to you, and the judge denies your claim to approach. Internally, you've lied to yourself so many times. You said you're going to change, or you say you're going to make a difference. You say you're a good person, but you didn't do the behavioral change necessary. So your internal value, even though you can have all of the things, you can have the car, you can have the bus, you can have all of these things, but if you don't look at yourself as a high value individual internally, then it means absolutely nothing to the judge, and he denies your claim. Because seriously, if you see a beautiful girl and she's dying of thirst, she's screaming, help, please, somebody help me have water, please, 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 and you don't go up and approach her, you're not even going to think about that. You're going to go up and approach her. You're going to look at it as an opportunity to get to know somebody that you actually wanted to know, because you know that you can provide value. So how do we break this? We have to remind ourselves of our true value. Some guys are so ignorant of how lacking of value that they are. That's why you see bum guys with beautiful women. They are too stupid to fail. Some men are just so stupid that they could not even fucking fail if they wanted to. They're so ignorant to the outside world. They're so ignorant to the exoteric. They're so focused on the internal that they just get what they want, because they're not asking for somebody else's advice. They're not asking for somebody else's opinion. They're not asking for somebody else's validation on the actions that they're choosing to take, because their internal value is too ignorant of the truth. And that's why sometimes when guys learn game and they learn the structure, they realize, oh shit, like I wasn't doing any of this stuff before. I was just blindly getting lucky. Sometimes blindly getting lucky is better than having structured failure. You get what I'm saying? Sometimes the solution is just running in as fast as you can and just doing it. So you can't freeze up and you can't psych yourself out of success. So they define their value by a different metric. Internally, men get to decide what their value is. So I was working with a client just 2 days ago, and we had an exercise where we go outside, we buy a big bouquet of flowers, and we just start giving it out to people. And the change in his personality that I was able to see was that he was able to become so much more social, so much more alive inside of the moment, because he knew that he could give value to somebody. So we're going to do 2 exercises. The first exercise I didn't even put into this PowerPoint, but go buy some flowers and then start just giving them to people. without any expectation of return or deliverance of something of reciprocation to you. Just go ahead and start giving as much value as possible, and then watch people be attracted to you. The secret of attraction, I'll make a whole video about this. The secret of attraction is that you have to be valuable. That's why people are attracted to gold and diamonds and big cars, because there's value intrinsically there. And nobody wants somebody that nobody wants. So when you're giving out value to people, you understand that whether you have a rose or $100 bill or a bottle of water for a really beautiful girl, or you're just giving a compliment, or you're giving a high five, you're wishing somebody a happy day, that's all value. And the reason you're not giving value is because you're not giving value. You're not into the habit of giving value and understanding that you have a value to give outside of these quote unquote high value things. Oh, I have a car, I have a boat, I have a plane, but I'm still not approaching women because it's not as valuable to you as your internal word. So the second exercise, I charge a lot of money. So a lot of money to work with me one-on-one. And the first exercise that I always do with my one-on-one clients is I have them write 30 things that you like about yourself. So some men have never even written a list of 5 things that they like about themselves. They're always so focused on things that they don't like about themselves. They're always so focused on their insecurities and what they're lacking and who they aren't, to ever realize who they actually are. So when we write down 30 things that we like about ourselves, this is going to reaffirm the value that you hold inside of yourself, and it's going to help calm your central nervous system. Because your nervous system determines your actions, whether you're faced with fight or flight, and a lot of us choose fly. We must understand that in the end, even though this is what it means to act when you're not ready. This is what it means to act when you're not ready. Even if your central nervous system still feels erratic or crazy, or feeling like you can't make a movement, moving in spite of that, that's how you make progress. That's how you beat PRs in the gym. That's how you approach a beautiful girl. That's how you make new milestones, because your body is not going to feel like it's ready. Your body is not going to feel like it's ready, but you still have to take action otherwise. And every time that you take action, you could be prideful inside of yourself and be proud, because there's a long line of men. Just caught the mosquito. It's crazy. There's a long line of men that have looked at that action and they allowed their central nervous system to shut them down and not make progress. So I want you to do those 2 activities. These are activities people pay me a lot of money for. You're on my YouTube at a very early time in my YouTube career. So I'm so happy that you get to, get this free value. But I want you to understand this. It doesn't become easy until it doesn't become easy until it doesn't. It doesn't become easy until it is. You're going to change that. It doesn't become easy until it is. So it's like you thinking, oh, it's not easy. Of course it's not going to be easy. You're not doing it. You're not doing it. Why would it be easy? It's ridiculous for you to think that it's going to be easy to do something that you haven't done before, you're not currently doing. Ring rust is the thing. If I don't go out and I don't talk to people or don't make a YouTube video, I feel nervous about making a YouTube video. But I still have to notice that my central nervous system is frightened and is scared and it wants to be cozy and safe, but I still have to act regardless. So it doesn't become easy until it is. So do those 2 exercises, go buy flowers and go give them out to people, and watch how the simple transference of value, you realize whether you have the flower or you don't, you're still the same person giving the same value just by talking to somebody. And then do those 30 things that you like about yourself and watch things start to change in your life. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a prayer hands in the comments if you've made it to this point. I love you so dearly. I do this because I want to and because I need to. And you, my friend, are the reason that I do it. I love you so much. Let's see you guys on the next one. Let's go.